Man, this story is so compelling. I really wish I knew how to read. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Just checking out a copy of Tomy from Junji Ito's collection. Got it off of Books a Million, and you should do the same. Feel free to check out the link in our bio, the link in the description of this video. Feel free to go on hubtaku.com and check out the Books a Million link. Get you a discounted copy of this. Any other manga you're looking for under the sun, they got it. You want your Bleach, you want your Sailor Moon, you want your Chainsaw Man, you're going to be able to see that on the site at a discounted rate. And most importantly, it's a physical copy. Nothing beats the paperback, dude. Feel free to check it out. That's booksamillion.com. Check the link in our bio, get you a discounted rate, and always keep your head in the clouds. Hello. Vonnie here with another episode of Air It Out. Here to set a stage for me to speak with creatives in this space. We talk about a bunch of different things. We talk about nothing at all. We talk about everything, but the main aim is we're going to celebrate the creator, put them on the pedestal that they deserve to be on, and you are going to be coming back, following this person and making sure that you're giving them their accolades too. Now, who do I actually have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Hi everybody, my name is Fatheena. You can call me either Maya, May, anything really, I don't really mind. I'm a voice actor. I've been voice acting for over a year now. I started last year, I think about April last year. And I'm Indonesian. I live in Indonesia and I am both an Indonesian and English voice actor. Yeah.
Sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I heard the reel that you had on your page of just the voice acting, the backstory and everything. Just your voice is fire. I need to throw that out there.
Dude, you are too sweet.
It is. Yo, I'm not the way I even found you. I was rummaging around on the internet. I happened to see your profile just randomly, and I was like, okay, let me snoop around and be nosy. I'm looking for creatives to interview, looking for creatives to just highlight and showcase. There was this one post you had, and I reposted it on my story where you were singing. I'm like, yo, this shit's so fucking cool.
Dude, it was probably a cover since I don't really sing any other thing besides covers on my page.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was it?
God, I don't remember the song. It was one of the most recent covers, and we're gonna do this real live right now. I'm gonna go on your profile and tell you.
Oh God.
Nah, the heat is on. We doing it. Let's see. It was this one. All I know is the title says post-COVID lungs hit different.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, story about that actually. God. Yeah. So I got COVID. Right. A few months ago. I got COVID. And the thing is that after COVID, my throat still felt really weird, as it doesn't feel like my throat. It's like, what is that? And it's kind of, I panicked for a little bit. Like, oh, what if I can't voice act? What if I can't sing? It was like the whole thing. So I'm selling. I can't not voice act. And so, exactly. And around that time, Billie Eilish's song that I was singing in that cover, the 30th, I think, came out. And there was this section, like a huge chunk of that song it sounded like she did it in one breath, like one take. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably setting myself up for failure, but we're going to try. We're going to try it. It's so long in one breath. And then it did. And it's like, as soon as I finished recording that little video, I thought to myself, did COVID do that?
Nah, I don't think people realize, like, COVID lungs, just the way that affects the breathing, the way you speak, the way you walk and talk and everything. I remember when I first got COVID and I caught it at Thanksgiving, which was even crazier. Like, it was to the point where I would try to string sentences together and I had to stop and be like, hold on a sec. It was bad, G. Like, I feel every bit of what you're saying right now. So for you to have done that with post-COVID lungs, like, that's impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really huge scare too, because like some different people experience COVID differently. Like some of them, they don't feel anything. It's like a light headache, little snot here and there. But other people, you get like severe migraines, right? they get bedridden. I was bedridden for like a couple of days, and
Damn.
it didn't feel like myself. It didn't feel like a person. And then was like, oh, if it's either gonna be I'm either gonna be dead or I'm gonna it's gonna be really hard to bounce back. And I'm just really grateful that the whole recovery process was not that terrible, not as bad as I had imagined it. Yeah.
It's almost like a breath of fresh air now that you like have the lungs back and you feel like there's a moderate level of you being able to like hit notes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Which is funny because speaking on the topic of air, what we always do on the show at the very beginning is we like to let the host, well, not me, the host, we like to let you air it out. So I want to give you one topic or anything like that that you just want to speak to. You can say whatever you want. We're going to start a discussion over that. I want to let this be a platform to say it.
Let's go. And I think I have a cat, right? I have a cat. She's a goofball. She's very strange and off-putting. That's just how cats are. And you know how people adopt cats. Obviously, people adopt dogs, cats, and any type of pet that they want to have. The thing is with my cat Lucy, she adopted me. I live in a dorm room, very small. Like it's not cramped, but it's small, right? And the door leads like directly outside. So like there isn't any kind of balcony or anything. And so she just one day, I had my door open. She just walked in and I gave her food and she just stayed and like cuddled up to me and fell asleep. And I thought to myself, she chose me. Man, I love her so much.
Nah, that's adorable.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes pets like adopt people, which is crazy, but also it just makes sense that they just come up to you because they trust you. It's not like you have to build the relationship from the very beginning. It's like they just come up to you and trust you. That's just, man.
That. So that cat essentially came up to your doorstep and said, Maya, you are now my person. Feed
exactly.
me now.
Exactly. I own you now, My savings, my time, this space, which is pretty much like the only space I own, is now mine.
You don't even own that now, so I hate that one for you.
It's not mine anymore. She decides to walk here, she decides to sit there, anywhere. It's her place. It's not me.
You know what's funny though? Like, I had a cat back when I was younger, and like everything was all swimmingly until that cat just decided, you know what? Screw this litter box. I'm using this tub. I don't know if you had that problem with yours, but like, have you ever had a cat just look you dead in your face, like just kind of eyeing you, like marking their territory as they're defecating, just looking in your eyes, like, yeah, say something. You know you're gonna clean this up, right? And you're gonna feed me, punk.
Oh, I had a similar problem, but I don't have a bathtub, right? So I have a shower. But the thing is that she used to live in back home. So this is my dorm. And I also have my parents' house, and that I go to. I go there sometimes. And the thing is that she used to live there for a little bit, and she was not trained to do the cat things on, in the litter box. And I remember waking up to just the smell of shit. What is happening? Where am I? This is not my room. This feels like hell. I don't know where this is, but it looks like my room, and so I look out, and like on the floor,
a nice swirly fucker just right there.
It's right there, and
in all its glory.
She looked up at me. She's like, "Yeah, what you want? I shit. That's what I do. I'm a cat." And I just looked at her, Lucy, I love you. Sometimes, good God, good Lord, yeah. That's so.
Lucy, I love you, but sometimes I just need to love you from afar. Can we make this happen somehow?
I had to regulate. I just take deep breaths. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. Wow.
You know what's funny though? So like past that point, and you mentioned that sometimes you go to your folks' house. Indonesia.
Mhm.
Um, how does that vary? Because when we speak about your voice acting,
Mhm.
um, how does that vary versus say somewhere like the States? Just the process of getting a role, nailing it, being able to just kind of do takes and go back and forth. Like I know the time difference. How does that work per se?
So it doesn't really affect too much of the recording process, and also like casting process, because when I first started out, I would look up casting calls on Twitter, casting call club, Instagram, Discord, servers that I was in, and that some of them I'm still in, and I would just straight up tell my voice directors that I have a different time zone. I live in Indonesia, so if we were to do live recording sessions, we would have to adjust. Other than that, it's been a really cool experience, and I don't really am not too familiar with what it's like in the States. Um, but recording wise, it's been pretty fun, and there's an obvious cultural difference between me and the voice directors, obviously. And every
Right.
time we have a live session, we would learn a thing or two about each other's cultures, and I think that's a really cool thing to have and then to be able to experience.
In the most respectful and tasteful way, what is the wildest moment that you've learned from a voice actor from somewhere over here? Like a very much, what the fuck? Y'all actually do that?
Oh, let me think. Oh my, there's a lot of things in America that I do not understand.
Hey, me
it's
neither.
pretty
Me
wild.
neither.
It's pretty wild, and I'm not saying that it's not wild in Indonesia. It's just wild in a different way. It's it's like I can't really
Hmm.
compare them because they're very different. And yeah, I think it's just how people would move out as soon as they're 18.
Oh, that's a fact. That's
Yeah,
a fact.
yeah, exactly. And I didn't understand that because the way that things are in Indonesia,
Mhm.
especially for someone who was, assigned female at birth, you would be expected to get married, and that's like the only way that you would get out of your parents' house. And I'm grateful that my parents aren't, necessarily they don't lean too much into that tradition anyway.
Right.
But which is why I go to college and I live in my dorm room. But this is not me moving out. I still technically still kind of live in my parents' house. It's just that when I do classes, I have to be here, in my dorm room. So
Mhm.
it's like, how do people expect these practically children, like people who are 18? I still regard them as children, because like they're barely stepping into the adult world. It's like, how do you expect them to survive on their own?
Hey, hey, Maya, I don't need to tell you this, but for the youngins here who actually are watching, I do want to let y'all know, don't be in a rush to move out. Like as soon as you hit 18, please don't. I moved out when I was 23 or so.
Mhm.
I gotta pay rent tomorrow, and that shit is trash. Let me be honest with you there. Like, no matter how you slice it, don't be in a rush to grow up. So many points in time, I'll be sitting here wishing, like, damn. Bro, I wish I was like, say, 11, 12, 13 years old again. I could just stop, play GameCube or something. I have to deal with the perils of life doing a 9 to 5 or that type of stuff. Like, man, don't be in a rush to get to that point. Like, if you can
Mhm.
mooch off your parents for as much as possible, please do that shit. Like, I still go steal detergent from my mom, and I'm proud of it.
I love that. Exactly, though, because at least my experience so far with living in a dorm, I've been here for like a year. It's been a year. It's that there are so many things that I need to take care of by myself that I didn't need to do that when I lived with my parents. But because now I live alone, there are so many things that I need to, keep track of, and I have to take care of myself, obviously. Um,
I'm like, fuck, I
and
gotta
I'm
do
still
laundry.
that exactly. Like I didn't need to worry about that when I was in my parents' house. But I mean, again, everyone's situations are different, right? If you
Right.
absolutely need to move out, you move out. But if you don't, and you have, you have the privilege to, I guess, still live in your parents' house, do that, and take your time to really learn yourself and what works and what doesn't, and how to navigate this shit show that is life, man.
Hey, no matter where you are, no matter where you come from, this thing called life is shitty. Let's call it what it is there. To the point of what you said too, is interesting about just the difference between, say, the States and Indonesia. Just the living anime. What is it like over there? Like, how is it received? That seemed fascinating when we first started corresponding. I was really kind of like, well, I wonder, like, is it really big out there? How does that stand?
See, I remember when I was in middle school, or maybe like during all throughout elementary, middle school, I remember some of my friends would talk about anime, and around that time, I'm 19, so it wasn't really that long. They were talking about Hunter x Hunter. They were talking about like sometimes I would hear about Dragon Ball, but during that time, anime was not big. It was like, okay, if you like anime, you get stereotyped, you get bullied, and I feel like that's a common thing too, right? It's not just in Indonesia.
Not that different.
Exactly. Yeah, if you like anime, you're this, you're that. And the more that people get more familiar with the industry, the anime, cartoons, it's the more familiar that they get, the more understanding that they have of the platform or the media, it's the more people are accepting. And it used to be like all the hype used to be Comic Con, right? Because they have Comic Cons here.
Yep.
And it's about comics, DC, Marvel, and whatnot. It's very rarely about anime. But nowadays we have this convention that's pretty popular in Jakarta. It's called Komifuro. And Komifuro is about like it's fan artists gathering up in one spot to sell their fan arts and like their fan-made merch.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, and people would come in cosplays or just dressed as their goofy selves, and they just vibe there and talk about anime and buy things that are from the anime that they love so much. And it's there's a shift there. It wasn't used to be like this.
No, yeah, actually very similar to here. People were definitely getting bullied around this side of town. Now it's become a lot more socially acceptable, I'll say. One of the greatest tweets I did see recently on the timeline was somebody said, tell the whole story. You wasn't just watching anime, that's why you got bullied. Tell them about how you were Naruto running in gym class. That shit had me dying.
That's so funny. And that's so universal too, because I have seen with my own two eyes during middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
There would be boys just running up the halls like that.
The two arms up,
yeah, like that. And I remember thinking, dude, like they're in their zone, they're having so much fun. And middle school, older kids, they're doing kid things. And my thought was that, just let them have fun, and years and years pass by. I'm so dramatic. I'm not even that old. Years pass by, and I've grown to like anime a lot more than I did in elementary. And it's like, I get that kind of, yeah.
What was the anime that did it for you, though?
The first one that I've ever watched?
I want to know your first and your favorite.
Ooh, favorite would be very tough. But my first one was Pretty Rhythm. It was like an idol. Yeah, pretty people just ice skating and jumping and flying. And they had wings and they were singing. It's like very magical. It had such an impact on young me. I watched that in 5th grade because like I feel like I wouldn't be myself if it weren't for that anime. It's man, I even like remembered the songs and the jumps. So they do these little jumps and they had like names for the jumps. So cute. And I still remember the names. My favorite one though, that would be so difficult to choose. But for now, since I haven't finished JoJo's, but I think
Okay.
This might be my favorite one so far. I
JoJo,
think. Mm-hmm.
can I let you in on a secret?
Oh, what is it?
As it stands today, I've never seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, really? You should.
Everybody keeps telling me this, and I know it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna watch it. But like, honestly, I just have not seen it yet. And now there's a part of me. One, there's a part of me that's scared that if I watch it, I'm not gonna enjoy it as much. I don't think that to be the
Mm.
case. Two, me being the troll that I am, I thoroughly enjoy just telling people the shit is trash, even though I've never seen it.
Good word. Oh, the JoJo's fan base feel comfy. They're so like the fan base is so large, and what happens with
Mm-hmm.
like large fan bases is that they're terrifying. They're terrifying. You see one wrong thing and they just come at you, man.
Hey, speaking of terrifying fan bases, let's talk about Steven Universe.
Oh,
Um,
Steven Universe. Oh man. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
um, first and foremost, I want to talk about your fan art of the Steven Universe on your page. Fire,
Thank you. Thank you.
fire! Like I seen the way you was working that Procreate too. I was like, you know what? That's gonna make me open up my iPad right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that.
was definitely impressed. I'm assuming Stevani's your favorite.
Stevani. She is the I think Stevani's actually non-binary. I don't know
Yeah,
that. They're a fusion, right? They're like between
yeah.
continent, if I remember this correctly. Yeah, so Steven Universe is a show that I actually watched during the start of the pandemic. So it's not like I watched that when I was little. No,
Yeah.
like I watched that during the pandemic. So it was like back in 2020.
Mm.
And I remember just like having to stay at home, nothing to do, right? I down I downloaded all 5 seasons of Steven Universe.
Ran right through it, didn't you?
I just downloaded all of it. I downloaded it. God, I don't know what came. Yeah, I watched it with my little brother, and yeah, we've like binged so much. And I think that's also that show. Um, I guess without me realizing it, is also what got me into like interested in voice acting, which is really funny. Because like, yeah, it is such a show, man.
And I'm glad you said that too, because I did want to pivot that into the voice acting that you're doing now. Word on the street is you are a part of Made in Abyss.
That is true. I am part of the Indonesian dub of Made in Abyss.
Nice. So like without first of all, without like any NDAs that may be in place, what can you tell us that led up to getting to that point?
Yeah, so there was a certain time period during the start of this year where I was just like trying to figure out how to break into the industry of Indonesian dubbing, right?
Right.
And so I ended up getting a contact, and ended up, reaching out to a studio, and they asked for my voice sample and all that process. And the way that this works is that they would call me in for an audition, and I would just go there, whatever audition it is.
Absolutely crush it too.
Yeah. And yeah, one day they called me in to audition for this anime. And I was like, ooh, anime! I've always wanted to be in one. And I thought to myself, going into the studio, I was in the dark. Like I have absolutely no idea what I was getting into. And so, stepped in the booth. My voice director showed me an episode of the anime. It was season 2, episode 1, if I'm not mistaken. And
Nice.
there's Reiko in there. And it was like, she's going to be the character that you're going to audition for. And I'm going to need you to do some lines from this episode. And I was like, okay. Having never watched Made in Abyss before, I've never watched Made in Abyss, and I don't know what the story was about. And so when I had to audition, we did the scene where this man, I don't remember his name, was like, I guess putting a torch on her, like,
Yeah.
torturing her. And I was like, hello? What?
Like what exactly am I signing up for?
Exactly. It's like, because it's funny, because the character Wicca looks, she's adorable. She's like a little kid and has this really funky hair, funky outfit. She's a scrunkly. I would call her that. I would call her a scrunkly. And then like that scene just went on, and if you heard the scream, that was not like acting. God damn! I was like terrified, mortified. What is going on with this show? That is a child. That is a child.
So I'm assuming, like, when you did this, did you leave that booth feeling like, yo, I absolutely crushed this, I got this role? Were you kind of like, yeah, I don't know? Oh, okay, pat yourself on the back. Yeah, you earned that.
Times though, it's not the case sometimes. There are auditions in which it feels like, oh, I really could have done this and that. I could have changed certain tunes or whatever. But this one felt like, yeah, that's my character. I left the booth thinking that the voice that I made for Goiko really suits her character. And even though I had a little shock in there a little bit, I feel like I pulled through. Leaving feeling traumatized. Absolutely.
Hey, man, the real ones persevere. Like, I get that. And sometimes you got to end up doing them lines where you record and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, kind of really wish I'm taking this home with me right now. Oh, wow, shucks. So I get where that comes from as far as that piece. But man, like when I saw that initially when I was looking through the stats and everything, I'm like, this is really impressive. This actually makes me want to go back and watch Made in Abyss.
Ooh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
So like, you did Made in Abyss. I know you're working for another a lot of different placements coming down the line. What's one anime that came into that, say, from the past that you've watched and you're like, I really, 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 really wish I could have been on this one?
Ooh, I think when it comes down to it, I'm thinking of two animes actually. One of which I finished. I've not finished reading the manga, and that is Demon Slayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's because, wow, insane cast. I was watching it in parts of it in sub, parts of it in English dub, and I thought to myself, whoa, it would be insane if I was in this.
Okay.
The performances blows my mind every single time. But there is one anime that I actually auditioned for.
Oh, which one is it?
I really could have been in it, the character that I auditioned for is the archetype that I would go for, because I guess my niche is little kids, little girls with very cheery personalities. It was Anya from Spy Family.
Whoa!
Yep. I auditioned for the Indonesian dub of Spike's Family as Anya, and I didn't get it, but like God, I could have been in there.
But the fact that man, the fact that you were even able to put that audition and play for that one, that's just a testament of things to come down the line where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna really start nailing this. It's more so fuel. Like instances like that just make me want to go and be like, you know what? Down the line, I'm really taking this, I'm pushing this 1,000%. And shit, the sky's the limit. It's kind of interesting.
Exactly.
I think
it's like it's such a I'm really grateful to have opportunities to be in things that I would watch as a kid. I would watch now, so it's like, damn, it's surreal, honestly.
So like, have you ever at any point thought about, okay, building your portfolio? You've got Made in Abyss, the ones that you're already actively auditioning for. Have you ever thought about like, say, hey, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna make my own. Maybe not make your own anime, but your own like YouTube content where you're voicing over like a lot of the Jaden animations and things like that.
I have thought of that because last year, I think I started last year. When I just started out on voice acting, I also made these little videos in which they're like audio dramas kind of, and they're very short. They're like 5 minutes tops, you know. And I wrote them, and I did think of that. It's like, ooh, what if, you know, I had like a platform to make these like either animation or just like audio drama in
Mm-hmm.
which I could make and, you know, just create a platform for people to be in it and, you know, audition and, you know, create opportunities for other voice actors.
Right.
It would be really, really cool, honestly. I have thought of it.
Hey, I mean, you don't have to have that fake. Like, you don't need me to. First of all, you don't need me to tell you this because you already got this shit under control. But instances like that, I think about it. It's really cool because you, as a voice actor, you first and foremost, you have the talent to be able to do it. Um, this also leads to a lot of things like producing roles. This leads to a lot of items like becoming just a like. There's so many different facets that you would be able to have your hands in. And just the experience that you're getting from doing a lot of these voice acting gigs, say like the ones that you have so far, I think that that's really cool because it now your portfolio is even wider. Now you go into these rooms like, I need this amount of money right here, pay me in cash please and thank you, feet on the table.
Good Lord. Yeah, dude. It's like, and the whole journey is, it's full of surprises, as in, you can only plan so much, you know? You can only plan about, like, you can plan ahead, obviously, like years to come, what you think you're going to do and what steps to achieve these things that you want to achieve. But when it comes down to it, and you're really doing these things that you've planned, some things just, you know, it just, you know, other factors that you couldn't have possibly predicted would
Yeah.
come in, and it either opens up opportunities and opens up possibilities or closes them. And what really, you know, decides that is you.
Yeah.
Like, you get to decide if this opens up opportunities or get you stuck, basically.
And I feel every bit of that.
Mm.
So with what you do right now, what actually ultimately do you want to accomplish from all of this? Is this something where you want to like inspire the next cast? Is this something where you're doing this to just inspire yourself? Is this something where it's like, hey, this is about funds, hey, this is about just wanting to leave a legacy? Like, for you personally, what's your motivating drive?
I think I know the answer to that. When I first started voice acting, it's obviously because, you know, there are performances by other voice actors who were, you know, already established at the time that inspired me. But also, I remember watching Doraemon. I believe
Ooh.
I was like very little, right? I remember watching Barbie, Doraemon, all these other cartoons that like made me really happy. And to be quite frank with you, if I didn't watch them, I feel like I wouldn't have a childhood. I wouldn't call it a childhood. So it's like, and the performances that really bring, you know, that really brings them to life
Hmm.
are the performances, you know, by the voice actors, and also the animation and the writing. Everything just like comes together and creates this whole experience for, you know, children like me at the time to enjoy. And it really had like a, obviously a massive impact on me and my personality and like the trajectory of my life. But I just really want to be able to proudly say that some, if not a lot, of my works could do that, you know, for children, for people who enjoy the things that I make, to create that experience, to inspire them, or even kind of, yeah, to have them experience all of these things that I want them to experience through either voice acting, singing, anything. Yeah.
You know what's so really cool about what you said, actually?
Yeah.
Like,
What?
I think about me coming up. Um, the first anime I remember watching, I guess technically has to be Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon.
But my favorite anime of all time, personally, and the reason why like that hit so close to home is Sailor Moon. I have the hoodie
Sailor.
on now, which is funny,
That's so cute. I love
but
that.
thank you. I got this from, where did I get this from? I want to say Hot Topic, but I don't want to be a liar.
I like that splash of colors too.
Yeah,
Like
like the
yellow.
pink and it's very tie-dye-ish. It's got the little like yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love
It's like, but that stuff carries with you from we like when we think about just childhood in general and just how impressionable we are as kids, like
that.
looking at the animated we had been watching coming up, that shit has an everlasting effect on how we actually become who we are now. I look at a lot of just it sounds cheesy, but Sailor Moon over here on our end at the end of every episode had these things called Sailor Moon Says. Pretty much like, hey, Sailor Moon says, brush your teeth, or Sailor Moon says, make sure you properly wipe your ass crack, or some shit like that. One of those types of things. Like,
Yeah.
those little things have an everlasting effect. And honestly, I think the greatest thing for me personally, which is why I adore Sailor Moon so much, the soundtrack behind it, um, kind of really puts you in a mood. You can remember a lot of where you were the first time you took in something. Like I remember the first time I listened to a lot of these songs on the internet. And this is like before I think you said you're 19. I am 29. So like for me, I remember the internet when you had to go on and it was like GeoCities and Angel Fire. And there's a whole bunch of other shit like that, like the old head shit before when we were on dial-up internet. I remember having to like listen to a lot of the songs that way when it took like 5 minutes to load 30 seconds. Like those moments kind of stick with you. Those moments kind of just mold and motivate you to who you are. And every single time I kind of fall back and listen to that soundtrack and stop and think, damn, that everlasting effect that it left on me. And that allows me to look at people like the composers of the song, like they weren't really, maybe they weren't thinking about what they were going to do to somebody like me when they were making this song. They probably were just thinking, hey, I'm working on this, I'm collecting a check, cool, this is great, and that's done. But that piece of media that they made at that one point became something so timeless and just became something so integral for not just me but people in general. That's very important. And I really think that you shouldn't take lightly, and I'm not trying to get preachy, I'm sorry, let me just say that now, but you need not take lightly what you're doing as far as this Made in Abyss aspect, as far as just like the 15-second post-COVID lung videos of you singing, just like all that type of shit, because people look at that and people take that in, and ultimately that ends up shaping people down the line, even if it's just a slight smidge of a second. Like just seeing that told me that, all right, well, I've seen enough. I need to go talk to this person and figure out what they're about. I need to go find a time to invest and just like, I don't know, be in this person's circle. And that's what prompted me to say, you know what, I'm going to email this person and see if I can have a convo. And now here we are now, and I want to be able to make sure that we have this platform to sing your praise, to tell you like, yo, you're fucking killing this shit. Continue to go forth and kill this shit, because what you're doing now, these steps and these foundations that you're laying down the line are going to be so important for people who look like you when they're coming up and they want to do the same thing.
You're gonna make me cry. What? Didn't expect to cry today. That's funny.
Hey, I didn't mean to get all like, yeah, I mean, but like, fam, I'm really passionate about the people in my circle when it comes to this great things that they're doing. Like, fam, if I could just buy a bouquet of flowers for everybody, like everybody be getting that shit shipped right now.
Man, I love that so much. You're so sweet. Yeah, like it's literally what you said, because there is so much power in, I guess, storytelling in general, and the way that the story is told. It can be through books, it can be through movies, songs, anything. And if there is a platform of media that just pops off and people consume that, it's important to think of what story is that media trying to tell. What are they taking away from it? And is it useful? Is it something that's going to make a positive impact? Is it going to change certain things? Is it going to, like the effects of these stories that are being told? And I guess that's what ultimately motivates me to start doing all of the things that I'm doing, is because it is very important to tell stories, to represent again. So that if, again, like what you said, if people who look like me, they see me and they think, you know what, I can do it too. Like I literally look like them. Like what makes me any different? And I know that a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of aspects in this society that I'm in Indonesia, it's been very difficult to think of ourselves as equals to other people, and that's something that I hope and I truly wish that I can change. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
not to go down that rabbit hole, but as a Black person, I just want you to say you spitting right now. You speaking
Dude.
straight facts.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's such a. I really want to say that growing up in Indonesia, that is, it's a lot different than probably the States. Uh, when I was growing up, I had this skin tone, obviously, right? And there would be just advertisements about being white, like straight up just being white, not even lighter skin. They aren't even trying to cover that. They're not. It's like you would see beauty products. They don't say brightening or or any other stupid shit that they sell. They would straight up say whitening.
Whitening.
I don't want to be white. Hello? So funny. God. And the other day I bought this little face mask. They had whitening on it. And I didn't even realize that it did have that. But I read it. It's like, this shit still exists? I'm like, 19 years old. It's been over a decade. It's almost 2 decades. But nothing has changed within the beauty industry. What is happening?
Literally that shit is not going nowhere anytime soon either, which sucks. It's like,
and from an outsider perspective, it's like I don't think people could truly grasp what it's like to be in here unless you've lived through these experiences. When you're constantly exposed to these people telling you that you're not shit if you're not this and this and this and that, right? And if you grow up constantly listening to that kind of influence, you end up identifying with it. You end up believing it, and it's something that is very tough to unlearn.
Yeah. That's a fact. That shit stick with you. Like, words have meaning on that front. You have the power in your hands right now of the words that you say with you being a voice actor. And I'm grateful that you're using it for the greater good of the people. So I want to stop and thank you.
I'm very grateful to have this opportunity, truly.
I got one last question for you, for the sake of all of this. As much as you can share as possible on this, what is next for Maya?
Ooh. So I've been a voice actor for not too long. I'd say 1.5 years is not that long of a period. But I've been singing my whole life, right? I've been writing, I've been drawing, I've been doing all sorts of stuff. And currently I'm studying English literature in college. And
hey!
Yeah. And we also learn theater acting. So that's another thing that I'm starting out with. Just barely dipping my toes in there. It's like, what is happening? But there's a lot of things that I'm very, very excited to start and to, learn so much about. So I guess the only thing I can really, really say is look forward to things that I don't usually do. It's because a lot of things I'm doing, I'm very new to it.
Hey, the one thing I do want to say to that is whenever the time comes when you need to release these items that you want to do, please know that Hubtaku is definitely a home for you to release it. We will retweet it, whatever we can do to help get you that publicity you're looking for on that front. I am a fan I am Maya Hive. I'm a Maya Stan account going forward. All of that shit.
I love that. I love that.
I would throw a heart up too, but this microphone I'm holding needs 2 hands right now. Yeah, and I just want to thank you so much for the sake of this actual, just even doing this recording with me right now.
Thank you for having me, truly.
And there you have it. That's another episode of Air It Out. Had a really great time right now. As always, you know where to find us at Hubtaku. That is HBTKU. Again, we're on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere under the sun you could find us. Maya, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter. It's Maya Fatheena VO. You can find me on Instagram. It's May Makes Voices. May is spelled MAE, which is actually my nickname. And yeah, I think on anything else? I don't think so.
But most importantly, the one thing we want you to continue to do and make sure you're doing, continue to keep your head in the clouds.